Hi, I'm Annika, and I'm going to talk to you about the UOAA's Visitor Training Program. This portion of the training is an introduction and is for leaders only. The UOAA considers the Visitor Training Program to be the backbone of the organization. All that we do nationally and locally is for the benefit of individuals with ostomies, their families, and caregivers. Our goal is to help the new ostomate overcome the initial emotional, social, and mechanical problems they encounter. And what better way to do this than to talk to someone who's been down this road? Before you can have your training session, you need to do a few things. First, you'll need to decide how you'll do the training. Will you divide the program into segments and spread them over several regular meetings, or will you opt for one 2 to 3 hour session? Some groups join with other area groups for their training session, and some groups plan their training around a potluck dinner. You know your group, so you can decide the best way to do this in light of your membership. You should plan to have the visitor training program at least every 2 years. Secondly, when you decide on the format and the date and time of your training session, you should allow several months to get the word out. You should announce your visitor training program at each preceding meeting and in your newsletters. Next, who will be the leader or facilitator of your training session? The leader does not have to be a nurse, but it should be someone who has gone through this training and is an experienced visitor. We recommend that a visitor should have had an ostomy for at least 1 year. You will also have to assign a visitor coordinator. This person is the one that collects the name, phone number, email address, type of ostomy, age and gender of each of your visitors, and is the contact for your nurses and doctors to call to request a visitor. There should only be one contact. When the coordinator assigns a visitor, every effort must be made to link up type of ostomy. Now, let's talk about what's on this page. There are a number of links, and I'll give you a summary of each one. Number 1 is the text of the Visitor Training Program Participants Workbook. You should print at least one copy for the facilitator, but it would be best if each attendee had a copy. The second link is the first module of the Visitor Training Program. This section discusses the various kinds of visits, what to say and what not to say. This section runs for about 18 minutes and contains a series of scenarios between patients and visitors. The third link contains scenarios for role-playing. These are suggestions, and you can create your own to fit the personality of your group. By personalizing these scenarios, you will engage your audience. It is your choice on how you want to do this. The fourth link is Other Issues, and talks about the psychosocial issues that a new ostomate encounters and how to deal with them. This section runs for about 9 minutes, and also contains sample visits. The fifth link is the Sample Visitor Training Certificate. It isn't necessary to have a certificate for each attendee, but it's a nice idea to send them all home with one. This is your choice. The sixth link on this page is a wonderfully illustrated and explained description of each type of ostomy surgery. You may want to include this in your visitor training, but I think it makes a great program for all your members. I suggest that before your training session, you plan a meeting that revolves around this video. Most of your members know what kind of ostomy they have, but many don't know what part of their plumbing was removed, and they probably don't know a thing about other types of ostomies. It's a great educational tool, and everyone will benefit from seeing it. Now that you have your visitor training program set up, the next question that everyone has is, how do we get to visit? Since the establishment of the HIPAA law, which stands for Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, we have run into obstacles in our effort to see patients. There are many aspects of this law, but the part that affects us, simply put, means that a nurse or doctor cannot give a patient's name out without their permission. You all have signed forms in the doctor's office saying that they can send your information to your insurance company. This is mandated by the HIPAA law. Before this law, nurses just let us know when a person came into the hospital for ostomy surgery, and we could send a visitor to see them. Now, the nurse must get their written permission. We all know how busy the nurses are, and this process has become cumbersome. And one more thing for them to do in their already too busy day. What you have to do to make it easier for the nurses to let their patients know about your group and your visitor training program. One way to do this is to create a packet that the nurses can give to each of their patients as they leave the hospital. This packet can contain a copy of the new patient guide available from the UOAA, a copy of your newsletter that has your group's contact information, and also information about the visitor program. For more information regarding this program or any of the other UOAA programs, please contact the office at 800-826-0826.